Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Respawn Radio with your host Paul
and Raphi.
And today we're talking about Raph's favourite Marvel movie ever.
No, we are not. We're not talking about Spider-Man.
I wish we were.
So do I. Instead, we're talking about Iron Man 2, which is easily shit.
Came out in 2010. So
Which was a shit year.
2 years. Well, it was the only one that came out 2 years after the last two, Hulk and Iron Man 1. Nothing for the year in between.
Yeah.
Absolutely fuck all.
You know what's even the most disappointing thing is that Iron Man 1 was great. Iron Man 2 is shit.
It's alright.
Bad.
Right. So what don't you like about it?
Everything. Okay. Let's get into it then, shall we?
Please.
Yeah, so, you know how Iron Man 1 was good?
Yeah.
Right. You know why it was good?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Iron Man 2 is shit.
Got that bit.
Because it's not...
Just looking for a little bit more of an explanation.
Okay, so, you know how Hulk was a good film? Okay, you know how, like, the Goodfellas is like a fantastic film?
Never seen it, so...
Godfather, Terminator,
no.
Finding Nemo.
Well, that's... Yeah, seen that.
These are all brilliant films. Iron Man 2 just isn't one of them.
Do you want to elaborate at any point ever?
Yeah. So you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
For fuck's sake. Why don't you like this fucking movie?
Right. So...
First of all, it is directed by the same bloke. It's Jon Favreau again.
Okay.
Right? But what went wrong?
Okay. This is going to sound like a joke, but this time I'm being serious. So you know in Iron Man 1...
Yes.
Right. All the way through it built him up as this sort of character, and it built Iron Man to be this sort of cool character. In this one, like
he starts off cool.
No, he pisses in the Iron Man suit. It's not, and that's like an example. That's of what this film is. It's Iron Man breakdancing and urinating. Like they couldn't have got that character. But
you take the context from it.
No. You take the context from it, and he's pissing in an Iron Man suit.
He's pissing in an Iron Man suit because he's fucking drunk.
Okay. Let's break it down then.
Okay.
And talk about comic books.
Okay.
So we'll talk about the Iron Man character and the Iron Man character in the films because they do different things, and it's not shot for shot, frame for frame, an Iron Man character taken from it. It's got its own imaginings to it and everything.
Well, yeah.
Which every, adaptation has, which I'm fine with. In the comic books, he's a raging alcoholic. Like, terribly, terribly bad. And they did this whole thing where, he eventually gets better. When this film was coming out, that's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be Tony Stark, the alcoholic, always drinking, and his life just hits the dumps.
Right.
So in this film, it's not that. Bearing in mind they've got Robert Downey Jr., who basically is Iron Man, because he had the same thing going on with him. He was an alcoholic, he was a druggie, he hit rock bottom, and then he built himself up, and that's pretty much why...
We kind of talked about that in the last one, where it was like, he fit the character
exactly. So
as
he
the actor. Instead
of doing the alcoholic thing with the character, they introduced some... poisoning.
Basically the arc reactor device that's in his chest that keeps the piece of shrapnel from his heart. There's like a part of it, like an element that it runs on that's actually lethal to him, and it's slowly I'll tell you, poisoning him.
I'll tell you what's actually wrong with the film is that it's boring. Nothing actually happens. So, beat by beat, the villain is introduced and they have a fight at the Grand Prix.
Yeah,
it's 20 minutes in.
I don't know if it's a Grand Prix, but it's just some race
somewhere. It's a race in Paris.
Yeah, it's at a posh people party.
Yeah,
and basically Tony Stark, he's depressed and doesn't see a way out, so he's kind of just doing all this mad shit,
reckless.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's just like fuck it. You know what? I'm rich. I'm just going to insert myself into this pre-arranged race.
Because I can.
Because I'm Tony Stark. Yeah. And then he goes in, and then Whiplash, for some reason, knows where he is. Whiplash is the name of the villain, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the villain name of the villain. The villain character is actually called Ivan Vanko. And basically his character is that, Tony's father, for a start, ran the company before him, Stark Industries. And Ivan Vanko's father worked with him as a partner.
They were going to develop some new element that would be super energy safe. Yeah,
but he cut ties with him because he was a nutter.
Yeah, essentially he wanted to weaponize it. Tony Stark's dad, or Howard Stark, wanted to use it for renewable energy, so he got him deported. Yeah, so that's where they split.
The character Ivan Vanko Whiplash spent many years in prison anyway, And it's like the first thing he sees when he gets out of prison, other than his dying dad, is Tony Stark on TV being praised for essentially doing exactly what he got put in prison for.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's got the
vendetta,
the daddy issues thing, but he's also got the envy issue going on.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of issues. So we're introduced to him, and up until the race bit, it's not a bad film so far.
Well, there's so much more of that sort of off the cuff improv dialogue between Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, and he's just working on whatever he's working on, and she just comes in moaning. I didn't really like her in this film compared to the first one.
Oh, she does just complain.
She's whinging all the time. Just
she doesn't do
They're
anything.
not even married, and he gets it in her neck.
Yeah, he's got so much of his shit going on, and she's just always complaining, and she doesn't add anything to the film. But we get introduced to Whiplash, like actually decimating everyone. Like he builds, it's established he's like as smart as Tony. He's able to build whatever he wants to in like a shed.
At least enough, because he essentially creates what amounts to his own arc reactor.
Yeah, he creates his own arc reactor. Instead of making a suit, he makes basically like lightsaber whips. And he's introduced as a villain in the sort of race thing. So that's about 20 minutes in. And then from there, like nothing happens. He gets arrested, and then the Hammer Industries guy, Sam Rockwell, picks him up.
Well, first of all, it's set 6 months after the first film.
Right.
So it's not too soon after. So it's fair to say. Now I'm going to tell you this near the end of the podcast because it's relevant to the after credit scene, but because it's set 6 months after, as opposed to the actual 2 years after that it was filmed, I think that this happens maybe slightly before, if not parallel to Hulk. And like I said, I'll tell you later why I think that.
All right.
He first turns up at the expo.
Yeah,
and he's sort of showing off his gear, and you get not a flashback, but it's a video that's shown at the expo of Howard Stark, Tony Stark's dad. And I like the fact that the actor who they have on the screen actually comes back in flashbacks in films like Ant-Man and things like that, and that sort of this is the sort of consistency that I appreciate, that I was talking about, that Hulk kind of destroys.
Well, they recasted him.
The young version is
Dominic Cooper.
Actor.
Plays his dad when he's young.
Yeah, but the young Howard Stark continues to play young Howard Stark. I think he has like a bit part in the TV show Carter, which is a spin-off of the characters in the Captain America movie.
Shield.
But then when he's old Howard Stark, like in Civil War and in Ant-Man, he's the same guy. So that sort of thing is something that I just noticed. So
fair enough. So getting away from the plot and everything and the script, and just the film doesn't have anything in it. It pads itself out, and it's a 2 hour. It's a long film. It's 2 hours, and in that film, there's no conflict or conflict resolution that it doesn't just create for the sake of it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of conflict within Tony himself.
There's a lot, but there isn't. The conflict is the fact that he's dying of this element.
Yeah, but there's also the fact that he could make it easier on himself. He's too arrogant and too proud. He doesn't want to share it with his friends. But he can make it so much easier by telling Pepper, get her off his case.
Yeah, but at the same time, everything that's going on with him, like dying, and like no one on the planet can, like, he is the only one that can help him. It's not like he's an alcoholic and you can get your friends to support you.
No, it's not like that in the comics.
But anyway, so he has this element that's his arc reactor's made out of, and it's killing him. It's slowly poisoning his blood.
The polonium.
Yeah. And without much trouble, he just makes a new element.
Well, okay, and you're jumping way ahead there.
And I know I am, but
he sees
but between this and that bit, nothing happens.
Well, it's like it's science fiction, so they can't go into massive amounts of detail. They kind of got to give you a bit of techno mumbo jumbo.
But they don't. What happens is, in the space of 15 minutes, he meets what's the name? Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Oh, Nick Fury.
He meets Nick Fury.
How did you forget who Nick Fury was?
I just forgot his name. I was just so angry. I just forgot his name.
You're furious.
I am Fury. Yes. He meets Nikki. Good old Nikki. Nikki.
That's great.
Basically, he like pads out a lot of dialogue when he could have just said, "Oh, by the way, I've got this thing that your dad created." Like, he spends what I think is 2 days, because they meet for coffee, and then they meet for like lunch, and then meet for, like, and then he's at his house. It's like,
oh god, there's one thing I completely forgot to mention. One thing.
Go on.
Right at the very, very beginning, like right after he turns up at the expo.
Yeah.
And it's between the bit where the arc reactor shows that it's starting to kill him.
Yeah.
He's in the White House, and basically the government's trying to nick his shit. They're like, you've got to give us the Iron Man suit. Give us the Iron Man suit. It's too dangerous. And this is kind of like what bleeds into Civil War, because it seemed that the character Tony Stark sort of changed his mind on it during that movie.
Yeah.
But at this time, he was very much like, well, it's mine.
Yeah, you can't have it.
You can't have
the government.
And he pulls his phone out, and it's like the most sophisticated piece of technology ever.
Basically glass.
It's like a glass phone that he uses remotely to sort of like hijack the tellies to sort of show everyone in the room what a lying piece of shit this fucking hammer bloke is.
They're basically like, oh, it's being created in North Korea and it's there in like Russia and everywhere.
And he shows that whatever prototypes of an Iron Man suit they're trying to make are failing. But my point is, do you remember that phone he had in Iron Man 1? The one in the desert?
The flip phone.
Why would he go from that and then 6 months later he's got this phone that he clearly created himself, which is like eons more sophisticated?
Because I reckon what happened is once he created the arc reactor and the tech around that, he then started using that technology more.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Because think about it from there, from this film to Avengers, the latest one, Infinity War, he's got nanotechnology.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
So
that's
I reckon,
a good explanation.
Yeah, so I just think it's the arc reactor. Once he had that technology, that was like a stepping stone to everything else.
Basically, Whiplash comes to the race. He messes up with Tony's car and he gets arrested. So when he's arrested, Tony tries to get a little bit of information out of him, but mainly just mocks him and basically says, I hope you get raped in prison, basically. He says, I'll send you a bar of soap, is what he says.
You're going to drop that soap, some guy's going to put your penis in your ass.
There is one redeeming element to this movie that you couldn't quite...
Oh my God, it's fantastic. Right, okay, so I didn't realise this at first, when I first saw it. Maybe because I wasn't of age? No, I would have been old enough to appreciate the magnificence that is the end credits. Because then you can leave and walk away forever.
That's not what I thought that sentence was going to end with at all.
You're talking about Black Widow.
I'm talking about Scarlett Johansson.
I didn't realise she was in it, nor did I realise she wears her like skin tight, like arse in your face. Okay, so you know in Batman vs Superman, you know how they pad out the armour like Superman wears to make him look more buff than he actually, even though he's like a proper beefcake, they pad out the armor just to. Do they do that with her ass? Because her ass in that is like
probably
is just like perfect.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
That's what I was.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I really, to be honest, as much as I want to, I haven't had a look at Scarlett Johansson's naked ass.
I don't know.
So Scarlett Johansson plays as Black Widow, who at this point I thought she was just another character.
Yeah. Okay. So admittedly,
when I first saw it, I mean,
yeah, that's what I would have thought. She was just some like hottie who I just thought, you know,
turns out she's another Avenger.
Yeah. Which knowing now, I mean, pretty much after the Avengers, she's in it for the long haul.
Yeah, she's like Nick Fury's
bitch.
Well, I was going to say his plus one, basically. They're basically the best S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Less of an agent, she's more like a... Well, she called herself a S.H.I.E.L.D. shadow. So it's like she's like Black Ops or something.
Yeah, she's...
Anyway, jumping back to where we left off. So he's...
Basically, Whiplash has gone to jail. And he's basically the Sam Rockwell's character, Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
He's
basically just like a salesman, isn't he? Like salesman.
He's a businessman. He's not very smart. Anyway, he's like, right, okay, Tony Stark's got all this cool tech and he's smart and he's gifted and he's probably got a massive knob.
Probably.
I need someone. And this, you know, is he Russian? I honestly he's Russian.
Who?
Whiplash.
Oh, he definitely is. You were so confident as well before in the pilot episode saying he was Russian, and he actually is.
There you go. He goes, right, okay, I'm going to break you out of prison. Hijacks then basically says, right, I want you to work for me. I want you to build all this tech.
But this is how you know that Justin Hammer's a dirty bastard. He's not just a sleazy salesman who's trying to up one Tony Stark. He actually had people murdered to get him out of prison.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he had murderers murdered, so...
Yeah.
Great area.
But the point is, he had people murdered.
Anyway, Whiplash is like, I'll do it, but I want my bud. And that comes up a lot.
He wants his pet parrot or whatever it is.
Pet parrot.
It's like, yeah, man, we'll get you a bird.
Yeah, we'll get you a bird. And he's like, I want my bud though. And he goes on about the bird so many times you could count. Bird.
What is the point of the bird?
No point. Okay, so later on he finds him a bird and it's actually a nice bird. I think it's like a parrot, so I don't know what fucking bird it is.
It's exactly the same kind of bird anyway. It's the same.
Did we ever see his bird before the bird?
Right at the very beginning bit, literally right before the open title where it says Iron Man 2. Right at the start of the film where he sees Tony Stark saying, I am Iron Man, gets all butthurt, his dad dies, he builds his own arc reactor and the bird sort of...
He's feeding him.
Yeah.
He's like
that's when you first see his bud.
You saw his bud. And then later on, he's like, I want my bird.
He goes, not my bird, this is another bird, not my bird.
And Sam Rockwell's like, well, you can't always get what you want in life, can you little prick? And then and then Sam Rockwell's also then he goes, oh, so what the fuck are you doing to my suits? Like, people can't fit in his helmet, and he tries to put on this, obviously not a helmet, just to take...
Yeah.
He's very daring around this guy who's obviously a psychopath.
Yeah, Hammer's got his own army of prototype suits. He's basically trying to do what they were trying to do at the start of the film. He's trying to make knockoff Iron Man suits. He's trying to... I think he says, I want to make Iron Man look like an antique.
Yeah.
He wants to take over the rule of, I have operational suits, but...
He can't do it. So he hires a psychopath who is meant to be a genius. He's meant to be incredible at physics, and because he created his own like arc reactor, and must be a brilliant engineer to do it as well. So he hires him, which is fair enough. But he's a psychopath, but he's really stupid, and he keeps on antagonizing him. If I hired like the Joker to build me a load of like knockoff weapons, I also wouldn't then poke the bear.
Yeah, the last thing I'd do is take his pillows and
if he changed my entire equipment, I'd just be like, you know what? You're cool. I don't want you to kill me.
But in the end, he kind of does leave him to his own devices, and all he does is use his resources to fill out his own.
Yeah,
ambitions.
he goes away from his company, goes like to somewhere else, and he
goes to another expo. So he's just like, fine, if you're not going to build me suits, you're going to build me drones. I'll deal with that. So he goes to the expo to show the drones right at the end. But this is right at the end of the film.
Just to avoid going right to the end. I mean, this is how shit the film is. You can skip out most of the film.
No, I guess there are a lot of scenes where it's basically just like when Tony finds those old tapes of his dad.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, this is a tape for you.
Yeah, the 20-minute scene.
Yeah. That just drags on. And then there's the bit where he goes to see Pepper Potts. And that is a long scene.
All of these scenes don't add or go anywhere. So he goes...
Well, it does, but it just takes way much longer than it probably needed to.
Well, he picks up... So he's like, right... He's had the word with good old Nicky, with little Nicky. And he's like, right, okay, I need to go and build my new element because I'm dying. But instead he goes to Pepper Potts. And I think he's meant to go to tell her that he's dying, but he doesn't. Or to apologise or something. Anyway, so he goes along, he picks up strawberries, and they have a little banter on the fact that she's deadly allergic to strawberries, and he forgets, and then it's just never brought up again that she's allergic to strawberries. And then in the office, she's got the model.
She's got the model that was shown in the videos that Tony just happened to be watching moments before that his dad had.
See, I would have thought that he arranged for those models to be there so he'd go and pick them up, but he didn't. They just happened to be there. They were under like blankets. He pulled the blankets off. It was the same model. Turns out the model is actually like...
But was it implied that the building she was in was like an old building that he used to have that was only recently just started? Was it a storage?
No, I don't think so.
I don't... If it was, I don't think it was established.
If it was established, then that's a fucking coincidence and a half.
Anyway, he finds it. He sort of pulls the cloth off of it and sort of doesn't realise what it is. Has to chat with Pepper and then goes back to it and just like, hang on a sec, that's the fucking thing from that tape I just saw.
And he's like, wait, hold on, I see an element in that.
Yeah.
And then he brings it back and he's like, there is a fucking element. He's like, that's a nuke. And he just makes an element.
One thing you've got to appreciate though is the CGI in terms of Tony's tech. The Jarvis system.
Yeah, that is...
It is really impressive.
It's so cool.
I just wish it was real.
Yeah, so do I. But it's not just going to... You know what my main issue is with the whole element thing, and it doesn't learn anything from it. It doesn't overcome anything.
Well, you find out that...
He's dying of, like, blood poisoning.
It helps to give him hope again. Because he's looking at this thing like, I've created the arc reactor, I've created my magnum opus, what more is there? And if this isn't going to help me, then I'm fucked.
That's not the plot, though. Like, that's not what's going on.
But then he finds out that his dad created something better and it was only meant to be used as a stepping stone to something else. And he's like, oh, really? Wow, I guess it does give me motivation. And that's what I took out of it anyway.
I didn't take anything out of it. I just took out the fact that it was poisoning him, and then he just created an antidote for it. Well, and then it wasn't poisoning. Like,
he didn't he created something to replace it.
But there was no character development for it. There was no character building for it. He was the same character throughout. Usually when something's about to kill you, you overcome it in films, not in real life. Usually in real life you just die.
The way I looked at this film
was with your cock in your hand. It was weird.
I looked at this film like it was
Porn.
what they want. It's what they want. Well, with Scarlett Johansson, maybe a little bit, but it's what they wanted the first one to be. It kind of felt like, in a way, not just a sequel, but kind of like a redo of the first one, because it has more of the Nick Fury in it and the lead up to the Avengers than the first one did.
No.
You don't reckon?
I think they tried to ride the success of the first one.
Maybe
I'm surprised because Iron Man 2 was terrible. It wasn't a good film. Iron Man 3 is not...
Subjectively.
Objectively terrible.
You're such a pompous twat.
Objectively, Iron Man 3 is also bad.
Yeah, but what's worse, this one or Iron Man 3?
I'm going to say Iron Man 3 for the fact that it doesn't have Iron Man in it.
Well, it does, but very, very little.
Very, like...
But then watching this, I thought there's not much Iron Man in this. I just don't think there's much Iron Man in any of the Iron Man films.
It was Iron Man dancing in the Iron Man suit and eating
so
there's just nothing that happens in the film.
Before he gets the element sorted out.
Cool.
There's an ongoing thing where, like you said before, the government's trying to get a suit off of him, and he won't give it. It's my shit. He has his friend James Rhodey, War Machine, as he's later known, because he gets his own Iron Man suit. But basically,
Terrence Howard.
Not Terrence Howard. He's replaced by Don Cheadle. We kind of talked about this in the first one
we
a lot,
all love
actually.
Don Cheadle.
I hated Terrence Howard. You said you didn't like Don Cheadle, actually.
I don't like Don Cheadle. I like Terrence Howard.
Yeah, you just said you like...
No, I'm just saying everyone likes Don Cheadle.
Why don't you like Don Cheadle?
I don't, not like him. I just prefer the actor that is Terrence Howard. I don't know why. I just think... You know what it is? You know what really solidified it?
You prefer an actor that's got no charisma, kind of deadpan,
I don't think
lifeless.
Don Cheadle has any of that either, to be fair.
I think he's full of charisma.
You know, in the new Avengers film,
yeah,
he's wearing the Iron Man suit, he's wearing the War Machine suit,
yeah,
but he doesn't have the helmet on, and his head is so disproportionate to the suit.
It looks kind of tiny.
It looks so weird.
That bit at the end, yeah.
And
but he's barely in it, though.
I don't know. I just think he needs to put on weight. I think he's gotten
skinnier, you know, as he's gotten older.
I feel like he is so thin, Don Cheadle. He's a brilliant actor, don't get me wrong.
So, before Tony comes up with a new element, he's going through the stupor, the depressive phase. He goes to a party and gets super drunk, which kind of ties in with the question you asked in the first Iron Man film.
Is Iron Man 2 a good film? And then I answered it almost immediately, going, no, it is not.
If you're in an Iron Man suit and you're drunk and you're flying, does that count as drunk flying?
Oh, yeah, does it?
Yes.
Because...
he's flying drunk.
But did he get arrested?
Well, no, he didn't get arrested. Rhodey put on the silver Iron Man suit, the Mark II suit, and kicked the shit out of him.
Okay.
Because he was being a nuisance.
That's weird.
And then flew off with the suit. He's just like,
a back police
fuck
officer.
your shit, bitch, I'm taking it. And then flew off.
You know what? That fight sucks.
Why?
Because it's got the cheesiest music going over. It's
it's fucking Queen. That's great.
It's not. It's one of their worst songs.
It's a remixed version of it that's got some weird...
The film is quite shit. And the film is shit. The film is shit. The film is quite shit.
So he beats him up. You said it was like they had like no energy. Oh no, fight.
Okay. So you know in Star Wars Episode 3, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are having the fight, and they look so bored
because it's all too choreographed.
It's all choreographed and it's all on like a CGI whatever crap.
Yeah, but in this you can't see what their faces look like. They're inside suits.
I know, but exactly. So you got the music, which doesn't help any of the tonal situations. They're not really saying or doing much. The suits, and it's just like you've seen Iron Man when he's fighting, and they make it look like proper dramatic, and it's like, fucking hell.
Well, that's because he's sober as fuck, and he's fighting his friend. He doesn't really want to hurt him. He's just like,
you say that,
he hits him and he knocks him over the fucking boxing ring. He's just like, okay, now when you're ready, put my shit back and fuck off.
Thing is, he doesn't know what that suit can do. Realistically, he doesn't, and he shoots at him.
Which is why he goes easy on him. I think.
Doesn't. Don Cheadle doesn't.
No, Tony goes.
No, what I mean is Don Cheadle tries everything. He fully tries to kill him.
Anyway, he flies away in the suit, and then, when Black Widow and Nick Fury find him, they're just like, we know that's bollocks, right? He didn't take it, you let him take it.
You just let someone walk out with your suit, and he's like, I thought you had like stuff to stop that happening, which he does. He can just turn the suit off. He's done it before when he was falling through the air.
I think the fact that it's got like biometric scanning, so it's just like, oh, you're not Tony Stark. You got no permission to fly this ship.
Yeah, because imagine if anyone could just grab the suit.
Anyway, he takes it, right? He takes it back to the military base.
And he sells it.
No, he doesn't sell it. What he does is he actually takes the arc reactor out, and the other people are like, ooh, what's that? And they're like, none of your fucking business. Puts it in his pocket. Perfect timing, because Justin Hammer walks in immediately afterwards.
Yeah, but they all know about the arc reactor.
They don't. That's the one thing he keeps a secret. He doesn't tell anyone about the arc reactor. That's why they can't build the suits. In the beginning, that's why they keep failing. They had the one thing they don't have.
Yeah, but they can't build the arc reactor.
The thing is, right, North Korea, all those other places that were trying to make suits that were shown in the beginning are failing because they failed to have the core component of the Iron Man suit. That's why when he sees that Ivan Vanko made his own arc reactor, he was like, oh, fuck. I guess, you're not as safe as I thought you were after all.
But because he's like, right, this is the Iron Man suit. I've got it. You can do whatever you want with it, because he trades the Iron Man suit for a load of weapons.
He does that to satisfy the government. The government want his suit, and he's like, well, you can't have my suit, but I'll let a guy I trust who works for you have one of my suits.
But no, so later on in the film, just skipping ahead a bit, he shows up in the Iron Man suit when he's like
modified
when Hammer's doing all of his like, you can have all these robots.
Yeah.
He's able to fly up, so he's got the chest piece back in his chest.
He keeps it. Rhodey keeps it. He doesn't let the others have it.
Yeah, but what does he think is powering the suit then?
I guess they don't ask that question. In Iron Man 1...
I feel like everyone knows about the arc reactors.
I don't know if they do, but if they do, they don't make it prominent. Why else would he take it out of the suit before everyone else got there and hide it? Why would he take it? Why would he bother taking it out at all?
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to keep... I don't know.
Because when that guy asked about it, he said it's none of your business. It's basically something you don't need to worry about.
Yeah, but the only thing I can think of is they know what the arc reactor is. They just don't know how to build it.
So Justin Hammer comes in with a whole bunch of guns, and I swear it's a gun advert.
It is.
He's check out this gun. This can do this. This can do this.
Check out the AR-19 pump action shotgun, now available at Best Buy.
Pump action shotgun.
And he's like, yeah, and then he pulls out like he gets like a massive hard-on for like this bullet, and he's like, you fire it at anything and it will no longer exist. Like, it just destroys everything, and he's like having to hunch over because his bone is that massive, just got a raging clip. He's like, just gotta have the bullet, man, have the bullet. Shove it up your ass. It vibrates.
It does look a bit like a vibrator.
It does a bit, yeah.
Missile. He calls it the ex-wife.
Yeah, because it just decimates everything.
I really thought that missile was going to do something.
No, that's the joke, that the tech is shit.
It's supposed to... Oh, right, that his tech is shit.
Yeah, because... So after he's done, like, wanking over this bullet, War Machine's like, all right, I'll take them all.
Yeah. A giant Gatling gun on the shoulder. That's my favourite one.
I love that bit. And then the joke is that he's actually kitted out the War Machine with these weapons.
Yeah.
And later on in the film, the final showdown between War Machine and Iron Man against the new and improved Whiplash, who...
He kind of looks like a mini Ironmonger. Basically, from in prison, when Hammer goes off to do his little show with his expo with all his own drones that Whiplash has made, Whiplash is left obviously unsupervised. He has two guards there. Immediately just fucking kills them and hangs them from the ceiling. You can see he's sitting there with knuckles covered in blood. He gives Tony Stark a ring for no reason. He gives him a phone call. And if he hadn't done that, he might have gotten away with his plan.
Yeah.
It's just villains just doing stupid stuff for no reason. It was because
the bird told him to. He was like, Bird, we must use these to kill Tony. It's like, Bird, I cannot call him.
Whiplash, call Tony Stark.
Yes, bud.
Okay, Bird, I'll do anything for you. And then Bird is like,
get me worms.
So he calls him.
By calling him, it gives him enough time to sort of locate him.
Yep.
So he gets Black
Well, they don't even locate him.
Well, he does.
Fucking Sam Rockwell tells them where they are.
Well, anyway, either way, Black Widow and Happy Hogan get on the trail of him because they're going to go find him and stop him because he's making all these drones go mental and attack people. He's also taken over Rhodey's War Machine suit.
War
so
Machine.
he's kitted up with all these guns and he's out of control as well. Anyway, they get on their way there. Happy Hogan's like driving. He's like a chauffeur, and he's like looking in the mirror, perving on Black Widow. She's like getting out of her bra and stuff.
Changed
Nearly fucking gets in a car crash for tits.
Yeah, which is
definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean that was the only good bit in the film.
The tits. Don't you think War Machine's suit looks cool?
No.
Really?
No. I guess it doesn't look as cool as it looks cooler when it's like modified.
Yeah, obviously not the boring silver Mark II suit.
But they go back to that.
No, it stays relatively dark. They do the Iron Patriot and Iron Man 3, but then he hates that and goes back to War Machine.
But okay, so
yeah, so anyway, they find a building where he's at, and he's got loads of guards. They're not with Venko, they're Hammer's guards for his building. Anyway, Black Widow goes in, and Happy Hogan gets in a fist fight with one of them. And by the time he's finished beating up one of them, he looks down the hallway and there's like 20 of them just flat out on the floor.
She fully goes like, I think that's the only bit I like in the film when she's doing all those flips through
all the
corridor.
martial arts and all that. Yeah.
And you're just like, fucking hell. And that's when every
dick went up in the air.
Yeah.
In the audience.
All balls dropped that day if you were
underage, you suddenly became a man that day.
Hair spouted everywhere. Women
just not on our
all
heads.
Women became lesbians.
Yeah. Do you still think she's just as hot now?
No.
Not nearly as much.
No. So I'll tell you what it is.
Her hair in this looked amazing.
Tell you what it is. Oh, okay, boy.
No, her hair looked really nice.
Her hair is so fabulous.
No, her hair looked really nice. It was
so silky and smooth.
Shut up. I can appreciate...
Oh, my God.
I can appreciate female hair, I'll have you know, without me thinking I want it on my own head. Her hair looks really nice. It's really dark red and sort of curly, and you never see that again.
Okay, so I hate her hair when it's short, because it just doesn't work.
That's in...
heavy other film.
That's in Avengers 2, she has short hair. She has, ginger hair in the first Avengers
You know what it is? Her body is just fucking amazing. So, like I said, padded.
Perfectly shaped.
Yes.
She's got the curves in the right places.
She does. You know what it is? Her face doesn't move when she talks. It's weird.
She is kind of monotone.
No. Her face doesn't move when she talks.
Are you trying to imply that she's had plastic surgery?
I'm trying to... Either she's had plastic surgery or a fuck ton amount of Botox, or her face is just naturally a void of all muscle.
I don't think her character was developed enough to I think I
don't think it's anything to do with her character. With her face not being able to move.
I don't think it's the actress. I don't think she's had any of that stuff.
No, because in every film I've ever seen her face doesn't move when she talks, and it puts me off.
I don't think I've ever seen her smile.
Because she can't.
Scarlett Johansson.
I don't think she can.
Huh. Speaking of celebrities who have had a bit of work done.
Mickey Rourke,
who is what we didn't even call him by his actual name, Whiplash. Mickey Rourke, the actor. He's was he an ex-boxer or is he still a boxer?
I think he's an ex-boxer. The guy's 90.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
I didn't believe you though at first. You're just he's had loads of surgery and Botox. So he looks like a normal bloke. When you showed me the before and after, I was like, wow.
Yeah. If you are listening to this, if we have any viewers, you Google Mickey Rourke before and after. And just be like, wow.
He kind of looks like... What's his name who does the voice of Rocket Raccoon?
Oh, from The Hangover.
Yeah. He kind of looks like him when he's younger.
What's his name? I forgot. A little bit, I guess. But yeah, doesn't he just look so fucked up?
He looks like a different person.
He does. It's tragic because he was such a good-looking guy in his youth.
Why would...
Don't know.
How...
Don't know.
I mean...
Don't know.
But without the Whiplash makeup on, without the long hair and he kind of looks Hispanic. Because he's definitely a white guy to begin with and then becomes an elderly Italian-looking man.
I don't even think he becomes Italian. I think he just becomes alien.
He looks alien because he's got no eyebrows or any facial hair in that picture you're showing me.
Features. Look at that. 1988 in 2012.
He does kind of look like a blow-up doll that's sort of halfway inflated.
Okay, so have you ever seen Men in Black?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so you know the scene when...
Oh God!
He pulls his whole face.
Say, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Is that better?
Because his skin doesn't fit.
Yeah.
His body. So that's
Mickey Rourke looks like a giant cockroach in human skin.
Look, that's what
that is awful.
Like. Yeah, his face is so bad. Apparently, his face is finally looking great. I don't think so.
You know what? Thank God that Robert Downey Jr. looks,
He's
aged like a god compared to Mickey Rourke.
How old's... I don't think they're the same age, though. They're meant to be the same age, because you think that their dads
I think Mickey Rourke's at least 10 years older.
Anyway, this is irrelevant.
After all the drones go mental
and
War Machine's suit goes out of control, they fly off and Tony goes to stop him. They crash into a greenhouse, and that's where they sort of have the final showdown. And it's actually quite a quick showdown.
It takes 10 minutes.
Is the 10 minutes? It
that,
feels shorter than that.
I think most of that 10 minutes is them flying around, because as soon as they land, they kind of shoot a few things, and then Turner's like, right, get down, I'm going to use my ultimate attack.
Yeah, I'm going to use my final move, my limit break.
And then Rhodey, he goes full Final Fantasy on them all.
And just goes, just the final laser, he cuts them all in half, and I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't he do that to Thanos?
And then, you're thinking that, Rhodey's like, why didn't you do that first? Like, lead with that.
And then he immediately, he makes us both feel like fools by going, I can only do it once. I was like, fair enough.
But it's not fair enough, use it first. Okay, you're going to use it once. Why use it when there's only like 3 left? Why not do it when there's all of them? And then,
He did wait till they're surrounded, but then, a discount whips in his arms, Ironmonger comes along, and then goes, and then they sort of do a Kamehameha together.
Yeah.
So he has War Machine and Iron Man clutched in his grasp with his whips. There's no way out. He's going to... I don't know what he's going to do, is he? He's just there, holding them.
Forever. You're
like, all right, well, I guess
let's see who dies of old age first. Because there's nothing that can happen.
Unless he has like a special button he hasn't showed us yet that shoots like a jet of electricity out to like give one final blow. I don't think he had a plan, did he?
He didn't. He was just like, right, I've got you two. And he's like, oh, fuck.
He should have flown up in the air and just threw him or something.
Should have been like, Bird, help. Bird, where are you? Why have you forsaken me, Bird? So he's just holding them, and he's just like, right, he's standing there, he's like, right, okay, I've got them, so what's my next move?
Well, they have a throwback to that fight that they had in Tony's house earlier.
They both shoot their lasers at each other, which creates like a...
Just like a ball of like flame or energy or something, it just blows shit up.
Anyway, for some reason, so
they do that again.
Well, he's got his helmet off. He's purposely put his helmet down when he's holding them. No reason. There's
just
no
to
reason
sort
to
of mug them off, really.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, he could have like not done that.
You can say that about so many different villains.
Okay, so he takes his helmet off. He doesn't take it off. He makes it go away. So his head is just exposed.
I don't think having the helmet off made any difference because he got eviscerated anyway.
Well, he didn't know. His face wasn't even...
Oh, no, he
barely
it didn't make any difference at all because he was still on the floor going, ha ha, you lose, ha ha, you lose, and then blew himself up.
Yeah.
And blew up all the other drones as well.
And proceeded to not lose in the slightest because no one died in those explosions. That mattered.
Well, we don't know about that. We know that he saved Pepper, but no one of any kind of importance to
Yeah, he's like, haha, you lose because Tim down the road is going to die. But Tony was like, I've got your back.
Was it worth it? He just spent 15 years or so in prison.
That's what I mean. He spent 15 years in prison.
Just to basically...
He then spent like a year making the Iron Man suit, or 6 months, whatever it was.
Well, it wasn't even an Iron Man suit, was it? It was just the...
Okay, he spent 6 months. How long was it?
Are we talking about the actual original Whiplash suit he made, or the one he made?
So the original one, he spent 15 years in prison. He got out of prison, and then he met his dying dad. He was like, it's all their fault. And he's like, don't forget the bird. And then he made his whiplashes.
I got the idea. He just made it.
But I assume the whiplashes took him 6 months to make because that's the time between Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Uh-huh.
And then he immediately got arrested because he failed miserably at trying to kill Tony Stark. He killed everyone else, but the guy he wanted to kill. And then he got arrested again, and then he broke out, and then he got hired to create a load of arms, which didn't do anything in the film. He failed at every task imaginable. He was the least threatening villain ever. He was just
I can think of more pointless, least threatening, embarrassing villains in the MCU.
He could have been so much better. You know what? Mickey Rourke, fantastic actor. Did well in it. Maybe spent a little bit too much time saying bird for my liking. I only like maybe 3 birds per film.
You got your own amount of enjoyment out of it.
I did as well.
Yeah, you got buds and buds of enjoyment out of it. But the film ends, and that's basically it. He's sitting there. Tony Stark ends up sitting in a room with Nick Fury, and I mentioned this before, right at the beginning. So this is me finally finishing up on why I think that Hulk runs parallel, if not just before, because he's sitting with him, and so Tony's reading the Avengers sort of manual, the manifesto or whatever it is. Sign up for the Avengers today, and Nick Fury's like, this isn't for you now. I don't want you on our team. Black Widow analysed you and basically thought that you weren't cut out for it. But at the moment, we want you to be a consultant.
And he goes, no.
And, well, at the end of Hulk, he goes and speaks to General Ross. He consults with General Ross, doesn't he?
But they did Hulk before this.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think that it happens parallel.
It doesn't, because we saw footage.
We saw the footage, yeah.
Oh,
at that
maybe.
bit because he goes off on a run for a bit, doesn't he? Again at the end of Hulk. So in that time, he might have gone and met up with General Ross.
Maybe I think this film might take because this film takes place. How long does this film take place?
6 months after the first one.
No. The film itself, because he builds.
How long is the runtime for the film?
No. How long in film time is that film? Because he spends a while rebuilding his entire house to make the new element. And I'm thinking that's like a good...
I think he built...
That's a couple of months.
Pretty sure he built the element while the house was still fucked up.
No, but I mean, he ordered new equipment, he broke down his wall.
Well, he makes a joke saying it's been like 3 years, where have you been? To Agent Coulson, who you love, by the way. Back in it, just as monotone as ever. I never realised how monotone he was.
He's awful,
until you pointed it out.
He's awful. He just doesn't talk within normal inflation with his voice, and
he's got no facial expressions either.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that happens, and end credits, and it sort of leads into Thor has Thor's hammer stuck in a crater.
Yeah.
That's where we're gonna
go from there.
Yeah.
So, what did you think? Because it's shit.
I liked it. It was more
You're
of a
wrong.
It was a casual movie for me. There wasn't so much going on, and
There's nothing going on.
And it's the last real time that we have a Marvel movie where you have that sort of charming, sort of ad-libbed banter between characters.
All of Tony Stark's basically thing is just ad-libbed in every one of them.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was better than the first one, obviously. I liked the addition of War Machine. I didn't really like the villain. I thought he was kind of pointless and kind of boring. And Black Widow, nice. If not kind of pointless as well. Like if she weren't in it, it probably would have made that much more difference.
I think it goes to show that even birds can't save a film.
Is that the best you got?
That's the only fucking piece of shit I can come up with. This piece of shit. It doesn't deserve better. This film. It doesn't deserve better.
I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a good film. I don't know what to say. I never watched it and was like, I fucking hate this. I was never bored. I liked it. What can I say?
You could say you didn't like it and be, normal.
You fucking knobhead.